Derek, he hadn't slept well for a week. He was riddled with worry and stress. The railway inspector was due any day, and the rolling stock in such a mess. He knew it was due for replacement quite soon, but he feared that it might be too late. If the rolling stock failed when inspector was there, then it certainly would seal their fate. On the way to the station, he saw an old flame, Miss Maggie Marbles. How sweet! His worries were eased for a second or two, till he saw a man knelt at her feet. The man was an archaeological guy who was busily digging a pit. It was part of a project to find Roman stuff, and eureka, he'd found some of it. He pulled out a golden ring covered in mud and carefully gave it a look. It belonged to an emperor, he then declared, as he took out his reference book. He then passed the gold ring to Derek whilst he searched out the emperor's gen. It belonged to Aurelius Terminus, who was stronger than 100 men. Derek, not thinking, then slipped on the ring, and a surge of strength flowed through his core. He was dressed as a Roman centurion, with the strength of 100 or more. Before anyone noticed what happened, the ring from his finger he freed. He was back now as worried old Derek, who departed for station at speed. On the platform stood railway inspector, who stared at our man with disdain. The formidable misbeaching whale, the destroyer of many a train. He apologised for his lateness, knowing it would have little effect, as she marched off to far side of platform, the public toilets to inspect. In then came the 10:37, unusually for one some time. Derek thought things just couldn't get better, till he heard a loud screech on the line. One of the wheels had buckled, and the train had derailed on the track. What could he do? She had finished the lose, and he saw she was now heading back. In his panic he remembered the gold ring, which he'd pocketed in his great haste. He slipped it back onto his finger, for there wasn't a moment to waste. He jumped down from the platform with vigour, bent his shoulder and straightened his back. He lifted the derailed carriage and placed it back onto the track. He was back on the platform in seconds, where Miss Whale was now standing aghast. It was nothing to do with his exploits. She was shocked that the station had passed. On his way home past Maggie's back garden, he noticed the pit was still there. He dropped the ring into it gently and covered it up with great care. If in the future it's dug up again, if history decides that it should, let's hope that the person's like Derek, only using his powers for good.